Well, I hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm increasingly convinced that we are currently in a political time now, the next few months until this election, and then depending on what happens, the immediate period thereafter. I believe this is a time that we are going to remember the texture and the feel and the details of in a way that is not typical. I remember the 2012 presidential election when Barack Obama was seeking re-election and Mitt Romney challenged him from the Republican side and President Obama won and he won easily. I remember where I was when the announcement was made that Barack Obama had been reelected. But that 3 or 4 month period was not an inflection point in the way that what we are seeing right now is. It was not unprecedented and unique in the way that what we are experiencing right now is. And every single day, we are getting a week or multiple weeks worth of political news. And just this weekend, Harris Walz with a series of rallies. It felt like the roof was going to be blown off of the arenas where they were speaking from the energy and the excitement. And we're going to look at a couple of them. We start with Las Vegas, where I don't know how else to say it. The energy is palpable. The audience fired up in a near frenzy, and the comparison to what's happening with Trump Vance, never mind that Trump's off the campaign trail with the exception of one event a week and JD Vance's events, low energy would be an upgrade. Forget about the contrast. We have not seen this level of enthusiasm on the Democratic side for a long time. Here is Tim Walz pointing out, these people are weird and we don't want their weird crap. And this is landing, and it is landing really well.
And I said it, I want to be clear. I didn't call anybody names. I spent enough years in that lunchroom to know bullies when I see them. I just made a very clear observation that they seem to be really concerned about. I pointed out that taking away reproductive freedoms, banning books, raising the price of insulin, trying to hurt labor unions, nobody's asking for that weird crap. No one's asking for it.
Tim Walz is very, very good at this. Walz also pointing out, listen, we've got 87 days left to go as of this speech a couple of days ago. And he says we can do anything 87 days. And let's just think about what will hopefully be coming at the tail end of this. And the crowd reacting very well to it.
And I keep saying this, we can do anything for 87 days. And my mantra is, we'll sleep when we're dead. We'll sleep when we're dead. Because when you wake up on that 88th day, you're going to get to say, welcome, Madam President Harris.
I had people writing to me over the weekend saying, hey, I like Kamala Harris just fine, but I actually wish it were Tim Walz at the top of the ticket, the energy that this guy is bringing. Now, at this same rally, Vice President Harris, being very clear as she likes to be, there are individual actions and statements that have been made by Donald Trump, which you can throw everything else aside. And just based on this one fact, this one belief, this one statement, just that one thing alone would disqualify him to be president of the United States. And she points out one of those things here.
Let us be very clear. Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of President of the United States. Never again.
There is no doubt that there is a fair bit of theater here. There is a fair bit of theatrics and performance, but that's the way it is in politics. And she's very much hitting the right notes. One of the other aspects that I like, which is playing well in front of the crowds, is turning around the referendum on freedom. These right wingers, they always used to claim, and they still try to claim, freedom is what they represent. But that's not the case anymore. If you want to make this a referendum on freedom, we'll do it and we win.
Here, I know the people of Nevada, you are battle-born. You are battle-born. And if Donald Trump wants to pick a fight over our most fundamental freedoms, we say, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
So, a positive vision. Here are the things we are going to do that are going to be good, rather than the dystopian and apocalyptic vision. Just a couple more of these that I thought were interesting. Kamala Harris continuing with this "we are not going back" idea. It works because we'd be going back to Trump, who wants to go back to the 50s, whether it's the 1950s or the 1850s, doesn't remain completely clear. And these lines are working to keep the crowd engaged.
America has tried these failed policies before, and we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back.
You know, there's no doubt that there's a cheesiness here, right? There's a little bit of cheesiness with all of this stuff. But what is being done correctly, and Brian Tyler Cohen and I spoke about this last week a little bit. We spoke about it with Tim Miller the week before. The repetition, as long as you have the right message, the repetition is a common political tool, and Trump does it with his "we will make America strong again" and "we will make America orange again," or, you know, the whole thing that he did. And the crowd gets into it. These are tools. They're tactics. The question is, how do you apply them? And Kamala Harris is applying them pretty well right now. Now, one other really interesting note, and I love this because the right loves to claim to be about law and order, yet they are not. They're for support the police, except when it's their rioters beating the police. Then it's like, oh no, now we're for the rioters. It's law and order, except when it's their guy being prosecuted. When the crowd chants "lock him up," Kamala Harris rightly says, hold on a second. Let's vote in November. The courts will deal with prison. That's law and order, my friends.
So, Nevada, hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. The court's going to take care of that. We just going to beat him in November. We'll beat him in November.
That is law and order. We don't need to be chanting about locking him up or anything like that. So an explosive weekend of campaigning. This was in Las Vegas. We're going to look at Arizona in a moment. And meanwhile, Trump effectively in hiding, other than golfing all week this week. The only thing on Trump's schedule indefinitely right now is a very soft and flaccid rally, I guess you would call it, in Asheville, North Carolina on Wednesday. Other than that, J.D. Vance has an event and Trump has nothing else scheduled. Why isn't Trump campaigning? Some of you said it's because he just doesn't have the energy to do it. Others said it's because he has a plan to steal the election, so he doesn't really need to campaign. We will get to the scheduling in a moment. But first, let's go from Las Vegas to Mesa, Arizona, where something remarkable took place. In today's insane media landscape, to stay informed and prepare for the show, I turn to trustworthy publications of record like the Washington Post. No one can beat the Washington Post's track record of investigative journalism and speaking truth to power. And now the Washington Post is a sponsor of the David Pakman Show. Did you know the Post offers a cool feature for audio lovers like you? You can actually listen to articles in addition to reading them, so you can tackle your to-do list and catch up on the news at the same time. And if you thought the Washington Post only covered politics, think again. You name it, they cover it. Climate and culture, crosswords and cooking. The Washington Post helps you discover a world of surprising stories, important insights, and actionable advice. It's important to me that this show only be sponsored by a reputable news organization like the Washington Post, and my audience needs to stay informed. You really need a daily newspaper to read online to do that. From May 21st to June 3rd, my audience can subscribe for just 25 cents per week for their first year. That's 90% off their typical offer. Go to washingtonpost.com/Pacman. And after June 3, they still have a great deal for you at 50 cents a week. The link is in the description.